Someone is about to reach out to you, and I want you to stop whatever you are doing right now and really hear what I am saying, because this is not the kind of reaching out that happens casually. This is not someone picking up their phone on a whim and sending a quick message because they happen to think of you for a passing moment. What is moving towards you right now has been building quietly behind the scenes of your daily life, in the private interior of someone who has been having a very long, very honest conversation with themselves about you, about what they feel, about what they lost, about what they cannot stop returning to, no matter how many times they try to redirect their attention towards something more comfortable. That conversation has reached its conclusion, and the conclusion is you stay with me because this reading is going to take you somewhere important, and I need you present for every part of it. I want to tell you something about the energy that came through the moment I sat with Virgo today because it arrived differently from how these things usually arrive. There was no gradual building of impressions, no slow gathering of themes. It landed all at once, complete, with the specific weight of something that has been assembled over a long period of time and is finally ready to be delivered. What I felt was someone standing at the edge of something, not hesitating, not uncertain, standing at the edge the way people stand at the edge when the decision has already been made, and what remains is simply the courage to move the body in the direction the heart already committed to. This person has done the internal work. They have been through the doubt and the pride and the fear of rejection and whatever complicated history sits between you and them that made reaching out feel impossible for as long as it felt impossible. They came through all of that, and they are coming towards you now. Let me speak to who this person is, because the energy around them is specific enough that I want to be precise about what I am feeling. This is not someone who reaches out lightly. That is the first thing I need you to understand. Whatever you know about this person, whatever history you have with them, whatever picture you have formed of who they are and how they operate in the world, hold on to this piece of it. This is someone who has a complicated relationship with vulnerability, who has learned through their own experience of being hurt or being wrong about someone or being left in a position they did not anticipate, to be careful about who they move toward and when and how, who does not extend themselves in this direction without significant internal preparation. The fact that they are extending themselves now tells you something about where they are, something about how much of their own protection they have been willing to set down in order to make this move, something about what you mean to them that exists underneath all of the complicated surface of whatever your dynamic has looked like from the outside. And I want to sit with this for a moment because I feel it is important and I do not want to move past it too quickly. This person has been missing you in a way that they have not been fully honest about, not with the people around them, not even fully with themselves, because admitting how much you miss someone, really admitting it all the way down to the bone honest version of it, requires a kind of surrender that people who have built careful lives around not surrendering find genuinely difficult. They have been doing that surrender privately, reluctantly, and with the specific grace of someone who has finally stopped fighting a truth that was always going to win. Something happened. I feel this very clearly, and I want to name it because it matters to understanding why now, why today, why after all of this time, this is the moment they decided to move. Something shifted in them recently. Not a dramatic external event necessarily. Sometimes the things that shift us most fundamentally are the quietest ones. A moment alone somewhere, a song that came on unexpectedly, a conversation that went in a direction they did not plan for and that left them sitting afterward with a clarity they had been successfully avoiding. Whatever it was, it broke something open. The last layer of whatever they had been using to keep the reaching at bay. The final argument their protective mind had been making against the thing their heart had already decided. And when that last layer broke, what was underneath it was not confusion or ambivalence or a complicated mixture of feelings that would require more time to sort through. It was simple. It was you, just you, clear and present, and more important to them than anything they had been using to justify the distance. And that simplicity, after all the complexity of everything that preceded it, is what finally moved them to reach. Does any of this feel like something you have been sensing? Have you felt a shift recently in the atmosphere around this connection? Have you found this person appearing in your thoughts with an unusual frequency or clarity, arriving in moments that had nothing to do with them, that you could not explain by anything in your external circumstances? That is not coincidence. That is the energetic reality of someone whose attention has been turned toward you with a consistency and an intensity that travels, that reaches you, even across distance. That shows up in you as inexplicable thought and feeling because what is being directed at you is too strong to stay entirely on their side. Let me know in the comments if you have felt this. Tell me how long you have been carrying a sense that something was about to move in this situation. Because I think many of you came to this reading today already knowing on some level that something was coming. You just needed someone to confirm what you were already feeling. Now, let me tell you why this is bigger than you think. Because the title of this reading makes a promise, and I want to keep it completely. The reach out itself, the message or the call, or however this contact makes itself known to you, is not the whole story. It is the beginning of the story. It is the first visible evidence of something that has much more depth to it than a single point of contact can contain. What this person is reaching out to say or to begin saying, because some things cannot be fully said in a first message, no matter how much someone wants them to be, is something that has been a long time forming. This is not a toe in the water. This is someone who has decided that the distance between where they are and where you are is no longer acceptable to them. Who has made a private determination that whatever it costs to close that distance, whatever vulnerability is required, whatever the risk of reaching and not being received in the way they are hoping, is worth it. Worth it because of you. Worth it because of what they feel when they are honest with themselves about you. Worth it because of what they have understood in the time since whatever created the distance between you about what you actually meant and mean and continue to mean in a way that time was supposed to diminish and did not. Time did not diminish it, Virgo. It clarified it. And this person is reaching out from the other side of that clarification with something real to say. I want to speak to your heart directly for a moment, not to the part of you that analyzes and assesses and applies the extraordinary Virgo discernment to everything that comes toward you, to the quieter part, the one that has been holding this particular door open just slightly, just enough, while telling yourself and perhaps others that it was closed. You already feel something about this. Something you have not been fully letting yourself feel, because feeling it fully would mean admitting how much this person still occupies in your interior world, how much the outcome of this matters to you, how much you have wanted in the private, honest place that you protect carefully for exactly this kind of movement from their direction. You are allowed to want that. You are allowed to feel the warmth of this without immediately surrounding it with qualifications and caution and all of the very reasonable protective measures that your history with disappointment has taught you to install before you let anything matter too much. Let it matter just for right now, just in the privacy of this reading and whatever you feel while you are inside it. Let it matter the way it actually matters to you. Let me speak to what comes after the reach out, because I feel the energy of this moving forward, and there is more here than the moment of first contact. There is a conversation coming, a real one, the kind that does not happen over a single exchange and does not resolve in the tidy way of simpler situations, the kind that requires both people to bring something honest into the space between them, something that has not always been said before, something that the particular history between you made difficult to say directly, and that is now on the other side of whatever distance or time has passed, finding it possible to be said. This person has things to tell you about where they have been, about what they have understood, about what they could not understand then and understand now, about what they want, stated plainly, in the specific language of someone who has decided that hedging and implying and leaving things diplomatically vague has cost them enough that they are not willing to continue paying that cost. They are ready to be direct. And direct from this person toward you, carrying everything that has built between you beneath the surface of whatever the visible situation has looked like, is going to be significant. Be ready for it. Not with a prepared response, not with a defensive posture or a performance of having been unbothered by the distance, with your actual self, the full, real, unedited version of you that exists underneath the composed exterior you show the world. Because that is the version of you they are reaching for, not the managed version, not the version that has everything handled and needs nothing, the real one, the one that has been navigating this particular situation with more vulnerability than you have perhaps shown anyone. That version is exactly who they want to find on the other side of the reach. I want to say one more thing before we close, and it is the thing I feel most clearly in all of this energy today. This is not the end of something coming back around to close itself. I know that is how some reunions or reconnections feel, like a chapter that needs its final sentence, like something returning to conclude what could not be concluded when it was first happening. That is a real thing, and it has its own meaning and its own value. But what I feel in this specific energy is different. This feels like a beginning, not the beginning of something new that has no relationship to what existed before, but the beginning of a version of this connection that has the benefit of everything both of you have been through in the time since whatever distance came between you. That has the clarity that only comes from having lost something and understood what the losing actually meant. That has the specific, hard won maturity of two people who are no longer operating from the versions of themselves that created the complications of before. Different versions of you are finding each other now. And what those versions create together has the potential to be something that neither of the previous versions was ready for. Something real, something lasting, something that starts with a message and a decision and a person finally finding the courage to reach after all this time. Be there when they do with your whole self, because that is exactly what this moment deserves. If this reading found you somewhere true today, please share it with a Virgo who needs to feel this energy right now, and leave me a comment below. Tell me if this resonated. Tell me if you have already felt this person reaching toward you before the actual contact arrived. Tell me what this reading stirred in the honest place underneath everything else. I read every single word you share with me, every comment, every story. I carry your energy long after this recording ends. Until next time, Virgo, someone decided, after all of it, they decided on you. Let that land exactly as deeply as it deserves to.